Standard 2 is culture of learning. Standard 3 is management. 4 is family and community. 5 is ethics. And 6 is societal context. But if you need any help with what the heck is supposed to be going on, there's some information. And then what you might find interesting from last year is, if you remember what we've talked about at these joint board meetings, you can't have a gazillion targets. Or that's what Mary Jane tells us. Well, last year we wrote a gazillion. It's the front and back of that sheet of paper. And you might even recognize if you wrote some of these, what was yours. I think I recognized one that Brent wrote, something about if I died. And it lists the target, maybe a measurable outcome, and then comments related to it. And those might be helpful for you to take a look at as well. So if you could get this sheet, and it doesn't have to be tons of things. It can be if you want, but it can be as little time or as much time as you want to put into this. But she will bug you if she doesn't get one from you. And it'd be good if you like something. So that's that.
You are going to send them electronically to us?
I can send it to you electronically. Yep, I can sure do that.
I can type it.
You better do that. Okay. We
I've
won't
got
talk.
a DVD too, if anybody wants to watch it out of Vegas.
Yeah, I have one too. We can loan those out. Just for sake of time, there's a couple things we won't talk about tonight, but one thing I just want to make sure that I say to you is that the election for school board is moving to a 4-year election. The election this fall for anyone that runs is still a 3-year term. And each school district in Iowa by August 1st has to have developed a resolution that describes how the district will move from from 3-year terms to 4-year terms. Election in 08, 09, and 2011. Those are the next 3 elections. Okay? And there's a little worksheet that we use. We'll put your name in. We put your year of election. And then for the candidates, we have particular terms. We'll decide if they're going to serve 2 years of their 3-year term, or are we going to take a 3-year term and make it a 4-year term. So we'll take a look at that at the next meeting. We'll develop a resolution about how we're going to decide what the term length will be.
And this starts fall of 09, correct?
This starts the fall of 09. The next school board election will be for a 3-year term in 08, and then the election the fall of 09 from then on are 4-year terms. And for board members that are currently on the board, we determine for those board members what the length of their term will be. And we can determine that really just any way we want to. And it might be that a board member just says, I don't want to serve a 4-year term, and that may be how we decide it. But that probably wouldn't be, we'd have to think of how we could write that in a resolution, I guess. So if you've heard anything about that, you probably have on the news about 4-year terms. It also affected special elections. And there's only certain times of the year, certain dates of the year that special elections can be held now, for like instructional support levy or PEPALS or that sort of thing. So it's just some changes, and basically the thought was legislatively that it was going to save a lot of money. School board-wise, the School Board Association is very worried that people will not run for 4-year terms, but it's very hard to find people that will run for 3-year terms in 4 years. Will probably just amplify the problem. That's that, and things are going great at the elementary. That's my elementary report.
All right. Any communications tonight? Moving on to old business. Sherry?
The only things that I've written about in your board packets about sharing were related to sharing of the elementary principal position and the transportation director position, and the Wallachia Operating Board. I think we should have it in our board minutes in case we need to produce those for anyone that the board's agreed to do that. So
You want them separate or together?
they could be together.
I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Fisher and Phil. Mr. Fisher as shared elementary principal and Phil Housen as shared transportation director.
I would like to ask some questions in the middle of this.
Sure.
Where can we ask?
You could ask right now.
Okay, what what is a typical elementary principal pays, period? I have that somewhere in the old,
Oh, probably about $75,000 to $80,000.
so if you would hire a person right off the bat and get them from somewhere else, that's about what you pay
No, that would be average pay in Iowa. A first or second year person, you would, especially coming with no experience, you wouldn't pay that much for. No. Are you looking at the salary recommendation
for.
or?
I was
That's
looking
not
at
my motion. My motion is just to approve the two positions.
Yeah.
I'm not doing nothing with salary.
No, you just approved sharing.
Correct.
He didn't approve, the financial part of it will come when we approve
Okay.
classified staff.
I saw that on there, and I wondered.
Yeah, we can,
I couldn't
it
remember.
could be part of discussion here if you feel like we want to talk about that before you vote on sharing, but this is to share the two positions.
Go ahead.
I second the motion. All right, so we've got a motion at this point to just share the elementary principal position and the transportation director position for next year. Now, is there any discussion on, a motion and a second, is there any discussion on that?
I had the two names attached to it. I mean,
Right. Mike Fisher and Phil House. Okay, having heard none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Both of those contracts are by the Sac School District too.
that'll equal us out a lot,
Yes,
a lot closer.
yep. Yep, get us a lot closer.
Okay.
And we'll talk about those salaries when we move back to the classified, to all of the payroll, or all of the contracts, classified and administrative, the teacher contracts.
Okay. Subcommittee reports, technology. You wanna tell us
Yeah,
about
there's
that
just a
one?
couple, three things on this list. We will be purchasing about $12,000 of technology, laptops and a cart for this building and the elementary. So our lab will be mobile rather than a fixed lab. A couple things we need to talk about would be alternative school.
But
Yep.
where does that come out of then, just to refresh our memory?
Probably one set sales tax.
Okay.
It could be there or Pebble, either one. Yep,
Okay.
yeah, it will not be out of general fund. And so that you know, we're buying 20 new computers for the industrial tech program at the high school as well, for the CAD program.
How many laptops are in that cart, Mark?
There'll be 12 in this one.
When like in this deal,
Actually, there'll be 14. There'll be 14 computers. Go ahead.
well, I guess what I'm asking, is this a shared expense or is this something
No.
that's,
This one is not a shared expense.
okay?
And the computers at the Wall Lake Elementary are not a shared expense. They're also getting a cart full.
Okay.
The 20 computers for the CAD program would be a shared expense.
Good.
And if you remember the full grade sharing agreement, we keep inventory and when we bought those. And if there would ever be the solution, then one school or the other can decide who wants to buy those computers for some sort of reduced price based on depreciation and
Just while we're on laptop, I've seen something, and I think, I don't remember the school, where they got laptops for every student in the high school.
probably no Fonda.
That might be, that was through some grant program or what, I'm not sure how that,
I don't know if it was, I think it was just a program, well, I think that it was a program through the Apple company, Apple Mac, and I don't know that it was a grant.
Oh,
I'm talking to
okay.
the superintendent, I think it
They
was
just
just
purchased
flat
them?
out bought them.
Like a discounted price or something?
Sure, sure.
okay, all right,
Yeah, they used, once it's tax money.
okay.
Yeah.
Alternative school,
We talked about this some months ago, but never followed through with it. And my question really is, should we proceed with work? We talked about the alternative school. We talked about window, siding, roof. Really doesn't seem to be any other suitable building available in Sac, so should we consider proceeding with it? It's one of the things we talked about, is there's no reason not to take care of that facility just like we would the rest of our facilities. And you've heard tonight, I guess, about the use of the building, you know.